Today is Wednesday in the third week, or the second week of Ordinary Time. And today we remember St. Agnes, a very popular saint in the early church, a young girl who suffered martyrdom because of her faith. Our gospel today comes again from the Gospel of Mark, beginning of chapter 3. Jesus entered the synagogue, and a man was there who had a withered hand. The Pharisees watched Jesus to see whether he would cure him on the Sabbath, so that they might accuse him. And Jesus said to the man who had the withered hand, "Come forward." Then he said to the Pharisees, "Is it lawful to do good or to do harm on the Sabbath, to save life or to kill?" But they were silent. Jesus looked around at them with anger. He was grieved at their hardness of heart and said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." He stretched it out, and his hand was restored. The Pharisees went out and immediately conspired with the Herodians against Jesus how to destroy him. The Gospel of the Lord. Today is a continuation of the conflict that Jesus was to experience during his entire ministry over matters of Sabbath observance and matters of the law in general. We've heard already several times since we began reading the Gospel of Mark the conflicts that were emerging between religious authorities and Jesus. Today, again, we face the question of what is the place of law in relationship to our moral lives. And Jesus again comes out clearly stating that the law of love, the law of life, is far more important than any positive law that we may have received from God or also as an institution evolved. Today is particularly revealing because it appears as if the Pharisees had planted this man with the withered hand in order that they might actually catch Jesus doing work, doing healing on the Sabbath. And they succeeded quite brilliantly in doing just that. Afterwards, however, we hear that the Pharisees went out and conspired with the Herodians. Pharisees and Herodians were far worse than the Republican and Democratic parties. These two groups lived by entirely different values, and yet their hatred of Jesus was such that they were willing to cooperate with one another to work out his ruin. It's not surprising then that Mark reveals Jesus experiencing very human emotions of grieving and anger at the hypocrisy that he found in the group of both Pharisees and Herodians. Today, let us hope that we might not be so hard on one another, that again we place the values of life and love above everything else.